Listen well, my child, and I will tell you a story. A story of two brothers, one who walked under the sun, and one who was left in the dark. This is not just a tale of fear, but of truth, of reckoning, and of the unbreakable bond between the living and the dead. It is a story that has been passed down through generations, whispered by the elders around the fire, carried on the wind through the baobab trees, and etched into the very soil of our land. It is a story of choices, of consequences, and of the price we pay when we forget the wisdom of the ancestors. The footsteps in the forest. Long ago, in a village nestled between the baobab trees and the whispering rivers, there lived a young hunter named Akin. He was strong and brave, known for his skill with the bow and his keen eye. The villagers admired him, for he brought home game that fed the hungry and pelts that clothed the cold. But Akin carried a heaviness in his heart, a shadow that followed him even in the brightest daylight. One night, as the moon hung low and the forest hummed with the songs of crickets and owls, Akin ventured deeper into the woods than he ever had before. He was tracking a wounded antelope, its trail marked by droplets of blood that glistened like rubies in the moonlight. But as he pressed on, the forest grew unnaturally quiet. The crickets fell silent, the owls ceased their calls. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. And then he heard it, soft at first, a rustle in the leaves, a shift in the dirt. Akin stopped, his heart quickening. The forest was alive with sounds, but this was different, this was deliberate. He turned, his eyes scanning the shadows. Nothing. He walked faster, his footsteps crunching against the dry earth. The steps followed. He broke into a run, his breath coming in short gasps. The steps ran too, matching his pace, echoing his every move. But the moment he stopped, silence. At first, Akin thought it was the forest playing tricks on him. Perhaps it was the wind, or an animal stalking him in the dark. But night after night, the steps returned. No matter where he went, no matter how fast he ran, the footsteps followed. Then one night, he made a mistake. "Who's there?" he whispered, his voice trembling like the leaves in the wind. The footsteps stopped. But something breathed behind him, cold, heavy, close. He turned around, and there, in the moonlight, stood a boy, thin as a shadow, his ribs sticking out like the roots of an ancient tree. His skin cracked and grey like the earth after a long drought. His eyes were hollow, his lips dry and cracked. Akin staggered back, his heart pounding like the drums of the ancestors. The boy had his face. "You lived. I did not." The voice was a rasp, like the wind through dry grass. "You ate. I starved." Akin fell to his knees, his hands sinking into the cold earth. "They left me in the ground screaming." Akin could not move, could not breathe. Then the boy reached for his throat. "Give me your life." The wisdom of the grandmother. When Akin awoke, he was in his grandmother's hut. The air was thick with the scent of burning herbs, sage and cedar, the herbs of cleansing and protection. The old woman sat beside him, her hands moving in slow, deliberate circles as she muttered prayers to the ancestors. She had seen this before. "You saw him, didn't you?" she whispered, her voice low and urgent. Akin could not speak, could only nod. She placed a bowl of water before him. "Look." He leaned over, his reflection rippling in the dim light. And there, in the water, two faces stared back. One was his, the other, his brother's. Akin's breath caught in his throat. "Grandmother," he whispered. "Who is he?" She closed her eyes, her face etched with sorrow. And then she told him the truth. The brother in the earth. Akin had been born with a twin, but the elders said the twin was weak, bad luck, so the family took the boy into the forest and buried him, alive. The grandmother lowered her head, her voice trembling. "He was not meant to return, but now he has come back, and he wants what was taken from him." Akin's hands shook as he gripped the edge of the bowl. "How do I stop him?" She looked into his eyes, her gaze steady. "We must dig where they left him. The grave that never slept." That night, under a black, breathless sky, they walked into the forest. The trees stood too still. The wind refused to move. The ground where the boy had been buried was soft, like it had been disturbed before, like something had moved beneath it. "Dig," the grandmother said, her voice firm. Akin did not want to, but he had no choice. His hands dug into the cold, damp earth. The soil slipped through his fingers, cold and heavy. Then his fingers hit bone. Akin gasped, his body stiff with fear. But the bones were not the worst part. It was the cloth, the same cloth his mother had wrapped him in when he was born. Because he and his brother had been wrapped together, one was carried home, the other was left behind. Akin turned to his grandmother, his voice shaking. "What do we do?" She did not answer, because the air had changed, the night had thickened, and Akin felt something behind him. Then, a voice. "Brother." The shadow at the edge of the grave. Akin turned, and there he was, the lost twin. No longer just bones, no longer just a shadow, he was becoming. His black eyes locked onto Akin's, his lips stretched into a thin, cracked smile. He reached forward. "Give me your life." Akin could not move. His breath came in sharp, panicked gasps, but the grandmother acted. "Give him what was stolen," she commanded. Akin's hands shook as he lifted the cloth. The grandmother took a small calabash, filled it with milk and honey, and poured it over the bones. She whispered the old prayer, the one meant to send spirits home. The wind screamed. The earth shook. The trees bent away from them. And then, silence. Akin looked up. His brother was gone. One face in the water. For the first time in weeks, Akin walked home with no footsteps behind him. That night he slept. No whispers, no shadows. In the morning, the grandmother placed the bowl of water before him. "Look," she said. Akin leaned over, and this time, only one face stared back. His own. And so the dead was put to rest, and the hunter was free. The lesson of the ancestors. And so, my child, remember this. The earth holds many secrets, and the spirits of the past are never far. But with wisdom, courage, and the guidance of the ancestors, even the darkest shadows can be laid to rest. Listen to the whispers of the wind and honor those who came before, for their stories live on in us. This is not just a story of fear, but of redemption. It is a reminder that the choices we make ripple through time, and that the spirits of the past demand to be heard. Do not turn away from the whispers of the earth, for they carry the voices of those who came before. And remember, my child, that the dead do not rest until they are given what was taken from them. So walk with courage, honor the ancestors, and never forget the lessons of the whispering footsteps. Years passed, and Akin grew older. He became a respected elder in the village, known not only for his hunting skills, but also for his wisdom. He often sat with the children around the fire, telling them stories of the forest, the spirits, and the importance of honoring the ancestors. But he never forgot the night he faced his twin. He built a small shrine at the edge of the forest, where he would leave offerings of milk, honey, and fresh fruit. He would sit there in silence, listening to the wind, and sometimes he thought he heard a whisper. A thank you, a farewell, or perhaps just the rustling of leaves. The villagers noticed the shrine and asked about it, but Akin only smiled and said, "It is a reminder that the past is always with us, and that we must face it with courage and humility." And so, the story of the two brothers became a part of the village's history, a lesson passed down from generation to generation. Even now, if you walk through that forest on a quiet night, you might hear it, the soft rustle of leaves, the shift of dirt, the faint echo of footsteps. But do not be afraid, for the spirits of the past are not always here to harm us. Sometimes they are here to teach us. Listen well, my child, and you will hear their whispers, and in their whispers, you will find the wisdom of the ancestors.